Okay, Jackie, we have some things to discuss today. We are
Nervous?
kicking off the first episode. I'm super glad that it's with you. We had a little bit of a conversation before we started, and I think we're going to talk about some things today that a lot of people want to hear. So I was super proud of myself, and I told you the quote that I think I manufactured. Probably somebody said it before, and that is that AI is a technology that is simultaneously greatly overestimated and at the exact same time greatly underrated. And I think that's going to be the thread that ties today together. So why don't we start with this? Tell me a little bit about your company, why you exist, why you add value, and why this conversation makes a ton of sense today.
Yeah. So I'm Jacqueline Mosher. I'm the CEO and founder of Jacket Consulting. And the whole reason I started it was because I've worked for startups and other tech consulting companies, but one thing always remained true to me is the way I saw processes and how to treat clients, but also educate them with the technology they're using. It was a very big gap. So that's why Jacket Consulting exists. Is we don't push vendors, we don't push products, we educate businesses on their actual business journey or how they execute their business on a day-to-day. And then we strategize with them, with all of our advisors, on how to best understand technology, how to best utilize it, and what actually makes sense for them.
Right, and coming from my world, so we build and deploy AI. We probably more than most people in the AI industry, the guys that actually build it, understand that, man, that space between I'm not using anything that's AI right now, and by the way, we'll probably get to this, but like a lot of the times when someone says like, I need AI for my business, which is a wild request anyways, like what does that mean? It's a lot of the times it's just like automations. It's not actually AI,
Right.
Which, by the way, everything new and cool just gets like lumped into
AI.
AI right now, which makes things like even more complicated and,
Yeah.
and convoluted. So we've been building software for 10 years, AI for probably 6. And again, we're like uniquely positioned to see that like when you come to us, again, we actually build products, we build software. You kind of got to know what you need because if the pretense you're coming to us is false, if you're trying to solve a problem that actually doesn't exist, or you are trying to solve the wrong problem, we can build you something wonderful, but it won't solve the problems that you need to solve to actually get the results that you want. So I want to start off with this, and this is a tough question. In your opinion, in your experience, and I have my own opinions, where is AI being used wrong? And where is it being underused and it like really should be used more? I can start if you don't have, I have a feeling you have something on the top of your head.
AI is being used wrong everywhere.
Okay, good place to start.
But it is absolutely being used wrong in terms of like AI agents, customer service, sales processes, where it's been taken over completely by AI.
So wait a minute, you're saying all the advertisements that I've seen that say fire your salesman, buy our AI were false?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Why?
So if you think about sales, people go to a salesperson because they need more information, they don't fully understand, and they need to know how it's going to affect their day-to-day.
Yeah.
So when someone is saying like, I need an AI agent, I need this, what is the actual problem that's causing this? And that's not being asked either. So when people are saying like, I'm going to replace my sales team, well, if you think about who you want to talk to when you're buying something,
It's not AI.
It's not AI. And this has already been proven for probably over a decade with customer service and the automated answering.
Yeah.
And
Specifically in the when
yes.
I call, if I get to the point where I have to call a provider, a
You've
contractor.
already been through the troubleshooting.
I've already
You've
done all
already done
that,
the steps,
man.
and then they make you repeat it again. And then you're spending an entire 30 minutes to an hour trying to get to a human when you already did what AI is telling you to do.
And typically the AI just is like a fancier version of that same loop of press 1, 2, or 3. So like I could not agree with you more. And I think this will connect to a lot of folks that watch this. Like, because in this world, whether you're a business owner or not, you experience both the customer side of that, where you're the customer, and you experience the, but I spend X, Y, Z amount of money so that the CEO of the company doesn't have to ask the top 5 questions. And I want to make that differentiation here, because I think we both believe, like, in the sales process, oh yeah, AI can take you to a world that you've never believed. And again, like that's the point of when we said, like, there's never been a technology that's so ridiculously overrated and estimated, but you cannot take away from it that, like, you know, here's the example. You have a sales staff of 3 people, okay? Company A has 3 people. They do not utilize AI, but they are closers. They are closers. They're so good at what they do. You have a company of 3 guys, this is company B, who are moderately good at sales, maybe 2 or 3 years of experience. If they're utilizing AI, if their workflows are automated, they're not wasting time copying information from the new lead source into their CRM.
No.
They're not mining their CRM. They may not even have to mine leads if you do it right.
No.
Right? So you're taking...
That is the biggest question I always get.
Right.
I need more leads. I need more leads. Where are you getting your leads? It's not the leads. It's the relationships and the nurturing. Like, that keeps your pipeline full. It's the human aspect. It's not Apollo.io, which, don't get me wrong, I love Apollo.
They're great. They all have their place, man. They all do.
Have the place. Yeah. But you can scrum. You can look at the businesses in your area. You can essentially source anything you need.
Okay, so we pause there for a second. When we're introduced to a company or a client that has exactly what you just requested, right? I need more leads. The place to start there is, how are you already getting them? Because again, like when we say, do not replace your whole sales staff with AI, at least not now, I don't really foresee that being even a couple of years.
So I go a step further.
Please.
So outside of where you're getting your leads, what is the process of how your sales team handles them? Because
right, because you could have gold in, but if you can't handle that downstream.
It's about capacity, it's about training, it's about, how your sales team approaches the leads, because you could give them solid leads, but if they're just churning and burning, it doesn't matter the quality of them.
Right.
They're just going to keep going through them, and then you need more leads, but those leads could have been converted.
And what you're really arguing here, like the framework we're building for like a use case in sales for AI is, and I personally think this is a general rule, never replace humans when you are talking to humans. When it's appropriate for me to speak to a person, you need to, by the way, and this is what AI is, I think people dream that AI is only for this. Take away everything else so that person can spend more time with the other human. So like all the processes, the procedures, like you mentioned, like, hey, let's say you got 100 leads coming in. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, how many touch points?
How many touch points?
Not only just touch points, but how many different touch points? There's email, there's call. Are you even calling?
Yeah.
Because that's a thing. People refuse to make a phone
call.
call.
I don't know why, but yes.
They refuse. And it's because of rejection.
Yeah.
The worst thing someone's going to tell you is no, but that's the answer you're looking for anyway, is a yes or a no. So like, take it as a win.
Exactly.
And then, sometimes it takes 30 touches, and it can take LinkedIn, it could take email, it could take calls, it could take Instagram, whatever it is, but especially with how automated everything is now, outreach is hard.
It is hard, but again, in those scenarios, especially when we're talking about like, hey, how is AI used in my sales team? The framework there, the ethos of that should be, it should be used everywhere you can to free up your people to do people stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because if you do that, it really becomes difficult to say, I couldn't follow up. I don't have the time to make that phone call. I don't have the time to make the call and have them say no, because I had to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, like, if I know in the background everything's going on and it's going well, and we have systems in place, where okay, if somebody contacts with us, I'm done.
Yeah.
I have their contact information. I know when that happened. I know what they want. All of that. That's good implementation. The moment I say, but I'm afraid that somebody's going to be mean to me on the phone, so I don't want to call, so maybe I'll have AI do that for me and just send them some more emails or more automated X, Y, and Z. No, like you're getting into an area where you're going to be disappointed in AI, not because AI is not super powerful, but because you're trying to use it in a place that it doesn't belong. And let me just share this quickly. This is a bit of a rabbit hole, but it's one of my favorite analogies for AI.
I love sales, so.
Okay. In the 50s, nuclear energy was everywhere. Like, wow, we split the atom. And we got wild with it. We had plans to put small nuclear reactors, and tell me where, when the point is where you start to see a problem with this. By the way, GM and Ford had prototypes for this. We were going to put small nuclear reactors inside of family sedans. That was a real prototype. Like, money was raised, prototypes were designed. If that would have happened, then that
Could you imagine the car
fender
accident?
bender that you walk away from would have been Chernobyl.
Right.
Like, so we have a habit of humans of seeing this new shiny thing, and we want to stick it in everything, right? Like, oh, well, let's do this with AI. Let's do that with AI. And I think it's most pronounced in the sales process, where, again, don't put AI where people should be.
Right.
It's a quality of life tool as much as it is an efficiency tool. So take all of the time, all of the stuff your sales guys that are doing that isn't sales, AI needs to be a part of that stuff. And let them be free to make the calls, get the yeses or nos. And I want to hear from you a little bit more, because I just, you gave me the opportunity to fit in that analogy. And I've had that one for a while. I was very excited to go through that. Yeah. Where do you see in that initial conversation when someone says, oh, you're an AI expert in some fashion, I want AI, and it's usually phrased like this too, I want AI for my company. I want AI in my sales staff, or whatever that is. What are some of like the false assumptions, I think, that people are coming to you with about AI that leads them to say, I need AI for X, Y, and Z, when, hey, that's like not really what you want? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
They think it's a quick fix.
Yes.
They think it's affordable.
Yes.
They think that it will do everything.
Yeah.
When it really doesn't.
Right.
And they think that it's easy to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Talk a little bit more, because that's a delicate subject, the easy to use part. Again, what we do is build software. So we have seen a huge uptick in, hey, I am a plumber, I'm a fill in the blank, right? And by the way, God bless them. Like, I have seen plumbers and electricians build some things that are honestly incredible. Like, so to speak to how capable AI actually is, it's given those folks the ability to do what a 2 or 3 year developer used to have to be. Here's where the problem comes in. Anytime you're going to have users on a platform that isn't you, that isn't your company, that you have direct control over, that has a payment processor, that needs a database, that repository that lives in an environment, which, by the way, every good piece of software ever built simultaneously is something that's very easy to plug into, easy to connect it with the world around us. And this is getting into another subject that I want to talk about, but to pause here, when those folks get to a point, and this is honestly scary, where the system worked, like they built it and it worked, and they're running their company on it, or we have some e-com guys come to us and say, hey, this worked for the first 2 months, and I spent a ton on marketing. I got discounted rates for shipping. We were doing so well, and yesterday I tried to fix it and everything stopped working. So that's real. That's happening.
It is real,
right?
Because, like, think about it. Claude, Fable, Perplexity, whatever they're saying, like, we can build this for you, like, automatically, but
and they kind of can.
Kind of, but okay. So real life example.
Yeah.
Over the last few months, I've been interviewing for sales reps for 4 jobs, And one of the candidates, they told me that once Claude came out, they started building all these apps and started putting it on Product Pusher and all this other stuff. And one of my first questions was, do you know how to fix it when it breaks?
Because it will.
Do you know every single line of code?
Yes.
Is it supported
Yeah.
from Claude alone?
Security?
Security?
Do you have a database?
Compliance?
Right.
Governance?
Yeah.
Right. So it seems easy.
Yes.
It is much more complicated.
And it's competent enough. And by the way, I've had this experience firsthand when Fable came out not too long ago. Almost every time I've been introduced to the new thing that came out, I was shook. Especially as a guy in a development agency, I'm like, oh no. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
But there's always a certain level of complexity that you get to where it stops making sense.
Yeah.
Because you are now your own developer, by the way. So if you're running a company, you have to run that company.
Yeah.
And that 40 hours you took to build that thing, you're not going to have that if you're successful. And again, to kind of finish off that story, we're having folks come to us saying like, hey, I built this 7-figure company and now nothing works. And we have to say to them, like, listen, you did an amazing job. Like, you're an ex-plumber, you're a whatever. This is incredible. Do you have any documentation?
Right.
Because if you don't,
Then,
we have to look through everything because
it's twice as expensive
if
because of the
not
time
more.
to go through everything.
Exactly.
And then it's almost like, does it make sense to just start from scratch?
Most of the time it's less expensive.
Yeah.
To use the framework of what they built to see like, what do you want this to do? But you nailed it. If you come to us on the day that it breaks and you have done nothing prior to that, we can't start fixing things because this is software.
Yeah.
Everything's dependent on everything else. And by the way, I want to make sure I'm clear about this. Most of the time when those folks are coming to us, they've already ran it through a couple programs and said, can you fix this? And it's making it worse most often, right?
If you look at, like, so I played around with Claude for the 3D website or whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at their code. It puts your prompts in the code.
Yeah, which is cool.
But also, it's not efficient.
Right.
And it takes up your usage because it does that.
So the more successful you get, the more that's going to cost you. And we talked a little bit about databases, and this is another thing that I think we see a lot. One, sometimes they're just not set up. Because remember, when we're using these tools, it can set up certain, let's call them repositories that function very well as a database. There is zero security. Like, we've seen things that are set up on OneDrive.
Yeah.
Like, you can get someplace with that. And again, I think that's the danger in them, is because you can convince yourself very quickly that you can do whatever you want. The problem is you just haven't ran into that problem yet.
Right.
Whatever that is, and the moment you do, it takes days to look through code.
Yeah.
And again, usually the conversation is, it's going to be cheaper to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really want to dissuade anybody from using Claude or literally Lovable or any other code.
It's there for a reason.
It is, and people pay for it for a reason, because you can absolutely, like, if you want to spin up an informative website for something, the days of coming to a developer are gone.
Yeah.
You don't need them.
You really don't.
You don't. If you want...
Now, if you want to understand, like, AEO, GEO, SEO...
You can't do that on your own.
You can't.
And if, again, the math has changed. In this world, what AI has done the most as far as, like, how it affects the market of software is it's changed the math.
Yeah.
And it's flipped it on its head. The reason why we're seeing all these new tools, hey, I am an AI expert, which means 3 months ago I figured out how Claude works, and I built this tool specifically for your industry. It's for your industry, and it's amazing. Okay, the only reason why that gentleman was able, or lady was able to build that, is because the cost of software development has drastically dropped.
Because of AI.
And the capability has gone up significantly. And those numbers used to mean that you needed somebody else to build software for an industry because it was cost prohibitive for a company to build their own software.
Yeah,
it is
the entry
no
point's
longer
non-existent
that.
now.
No, and I think, and this is like a bit of a prediction for me, in a year or two, we're going to see a mass exodus from all of the new AI tools that were built, because companies are going to realize whatever it costs them for a year to rent that, or a year and a half, they can build exactly what they want. And then here's the beautiful thing. And we had discussed this before. I think the time is coming where people are going, companies specifically, are going to want their own. Because you mentioned something that's a bit scary. What if the company you use as your AI provider that has all that information goes under? And by the way, there's probably only room for a couple. Probably only room for, well, let's just say more than there is right now. So not only has the math changed, the environment has changed, and now it has become way more amicable, way more affordable, way more effective for folks to build their own system because they own it. Their data is theirs. Their security is theirs. Like, they can take control of that you know, and not worry about those sort of existential crises. But again, the math has changed. You don't need somebody else's stuff.
No, you don't.
And
especially with how powerful like Google Workspace,
all
Microsoft
of
is,
it,
like
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
You really don't.
No.
Like, we have one client where we're using their Microsoft to build out their automations and all of that for them.
Isn't it wild what is available to, like, we're not talking about paid plans. And if we are, we're talking about 20 bucks a month.
Right.
The tools that are available,
You should be utilizing them.
you have no excuse any longer.
Zero.
So let's touch on that a little bit. The fact that these tools are available and they're a line item for expenses, like I've heard people say, well, I don't want to use AI because I don't want the, you know, I've heard about some company that got a $500,000 bill. That's a direct API commercial. Like, that is not going to happen to you.
They're using like Claude,
Yeah.
Fable, like
They know what they're
coding.
doing. Right.
They have tokens.
They're running new models. They're doing R&D. Like, for the common person.
Or they didn't strategize and then they got the bill.
Right. Or that. Or that. But I guess the point here that I want people to know is that scenario of, oh my God, how did my AI bill get this big? There are several conversations you would have to have had before that where someone says, hey, you are paying for a plan and you want unlimited tokens. You have a risk of this being very high.
That's not.
It's not for your average person. It's just not something people need to worry about. So we talked about a lot of, I think, really important things as far as the environment goes when it comes to AI. We talked about how the math has changed on, hey, you don't need off-the-shelf software any longer. And there's a term that I think you're familiar with called shelfware.
Yes.
Can you tell us what shelfware is? And you know, if you have some anecdotes or, you know, please go ahead.
Shelfware is a preconceived product that is pushed to every company like it's the best thing out there. It happens all the time with like Salesforce, HubSpot, Go High Level.
And let me ask you this, because I know the numbers that are in my head, and I'm just going to paint the picture. This is the most common scenario I run into with especially small businesses. When I even ask the question like, hey, how many different software packages do you have? Usually they don't know, honestly. And then the next question is obviously like, well, how much do you spend a month? I don't know. And like, okay, I kind of get that because like if you're a CEO and there's dedicated spend for each department to do with it, okay, maybe you don't. But that's a pain for businesses. Like, you're paying for something you don't use, you should know.
Right.
But the most of the time, if you're using 25% of any one piece of software, that's good. That's actually above average.
It's impressive.
It is.
Sad to say.
So what we end up seeing, and I think you guys see this as well, is you end up seeing this duct taped together masterpiece of 15 different software products, all with their price tags, that some whole departments don't even use, but two or three guys use because it's really necessary. Again, the math of AI has changed, the math of software has changed. So we're seeing more of this business come in where we're able to replace half of that software suite for a price tag, again, that you are already paying in maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. But the difference is you're going to actually use the software we build for you because it's specifically what you want. It's not something that was built from, you know, somebody else built and said, hey, this is what you need to use.
This is what I think you should
use, which, by the way,
is not correct most of the time?
Most of the time, because if you are a company that earns more revenue than everyone else, if you're a leader in your industry, if you want to do
Your entire
things
process
differently,
is different.
it's different. And a generic piece of software has to be built with as many people in mind as possible. It has to be, or it won't work, which means it's not good for you. You're going to have to force your procedures, your SOPs, all of that into that piece of software. I think that day and age is gone. I think it's gone, and I think that businesses building their own brain, let's call it, right? Their own AI
that's
brain.
essentially what it is.
It is. It is. It is the future. I think we're going to see a lot of the products fall off. I just don't think they're going to. I think people are going to do the math and see that if I could build what I want instead of stringing 15 different pieces of software together that don't naturally talk to each other, that's going to be the solution.
It's also, too, though, bigger than that. It's about making sure employees can adapt to it, too. So
That's
it doesn't
huge.
matter what software
Because
you have,
if no
if
one
it's your own or
uses it,
not, it's pointless.
It doesn't matter.
We talked to a construction company here in the area where they have probably like 40-something employees, and they implemented this new technology. Not a single one of them has used it in a year.
So who cares how good it is? Who cares if it's official generative AI, right? General intelligence. It could be the smartest AI in the world. If you haven't built it and considered how people are going to use it, don't buy it. Which again, I think that's another point towards don't force your workforce into somebody else's software. Build your own.
Well,
By the way,
that's another point too, though, is yes, that is very good.
Yeah.
Are your management and leadership even understanding your employees and what they need? Or are they just making assumptions based off of what they want to deal with?
Wonderful question. McKinsey did a study on AI. The number one determining factor, whether a company actually produces an ROI with their AI, whether you're small business or large, number one determining factor, does leadership understand and have a strategy for AI? And by the way, if you don't, here's what we see. Quotas for token usage. That equals nothing.
That means zero.
That means zero.
Do you even understand how a token is processed?
Right, because if I really want to meet a token usage, I'm going to, and by the way, if that's all you measure,
then we're not touching it.
draw me a picture once an hour of a dragon on a lifeboat.
Yeah.
The AI will use enough tokens, so I'll look like I'm awesome. We've even seen like some sort of comical versions of people putting like little rollers on their mouse to click and things like that. So like, listen, if there's not a strategy in place, again, and I think that's where companies like yours come in, is here's another problem. You said, and I agree with you, AI is not the end-all be-all solution.
No, it's not.
And by the way, you can really misuse it. You can spend more money chasing your tail with AI if you don't have some folks involved that know what they're doing than you would have just been staying the same. You can absolutely harm yourself if you just say, I'm going to throw AI at the problem.
Yeah.
You have to have people like yourself and, again, other professionals who have been down this road to say, okay, but what are you actually going to use AI for? And then take a step back. Who's going to be using what? Because do you really need the full weight of your new AI brain for the guy whose job it is to fix flat tires in your company? You don't. You don't. It's a giant waste of time. Now, you mentioned something, and I want to go down this path. When AI first came out, there was the fear of job loss.
Yeah.
And there has been. Certain industries more than others.
for good reason.
For a good reason. I, as well as I think a lot of others, thought that the service industries were going to be protected from that.
Oh, no.
And that has not been how it's played out. And I want to give you a story, and then I know you have some real-world examples of this. But I have a friend up in Pennsylvania who is a seasoned tech in his industry. He knows things that, you only get by doing the same job for 30 years. And he's again, what he does specifically is very technical, and there's a vast amount of machines that all have requirements, and he just knows that because it's what he did for 30 years. And they ran into a problem. This was a couple weeks ago. And a new guy showed up, and the new guy had on his phone he had built some, little dedicated gems, right, from Google
Yeah.
Gemini, and explained to those gems that, hey, you're an expert, you're a tech with me. So train yourself up on the models that are used in this industry. Train yourself up with common troubleshooting problems. This kid, and he said kid, so probably in his early 20s, came in and troubleshot it with this AI and fixed the problem. I think, as well as many others, thought, hey, AI is an administrative tool. AI is a tool that's supposed to be in the office. But we are absolutely seeing it now, where the guys that turn the bolts and the screws are utilizing AI in real ways. And at some point we may have to discuss, but we have a client currently who's building a system like that for car maintenance. And it's genius, because if someone's always going to need to turn the bolts and screws, for sure, but that's not the value in those industries. The industries is to know what bolts to turn and when. And AI can absolutely be a tool utilized for your field guys as much as your office staff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So an example, we just had our sales meeting this morning with Jacket. And a lot of the feedback I'd been getting since bringing on the other advisors is, people have a hard time understanding what we actually do.
Yeah.
So, me. I completely re-strategized how we communicate what we do and came up with this really good strategy. But also with that happening is I started building out an advisor system where it's an AI assist, basically. So it has the CRM component, it has customer success components, but what's really cool is from listening to them and hearing their feedback from, the client-facing side, is we're creating this entire system where all of our clients, including the people we're entertaining, will have a health score. It'll have AI-assisted recommendations. If they become a full client, then it also, too, will do health checks with them. It'll give a progress of their strategy session. And then if we don't, hear from them or say their health check isn't good, then it has reminders. It'll schedule meetings, it'll schedule tasks, but all of the advisors are still in every single piece of it.
Yeah.
So AI is an assist.
Yes.
It's not meant to take over.
And
it's to help upskill too, so you can pay attention to when do I need to turn the wheel?
Yeah.
When should I change my brake pads? When does my next oil change need to be?
So we covered a lot today, and again, one of the promises I made when I said I'd do this podcast is I didn't want it to all be about fear. So let's talk a little bit about reality and then some solutions. So here's my opinion after being in this industry for years, and again, it's admittedly dark. I also think there's a ton of hope, but if the common man and woman, if the local GC, the tax, the tax guy, the guy who started his own business doesn't integrate AI and into his company soon, possibly right now, we're going to see the greatest concentration of wealth happen. The biggest consolidation of wealth that probably the world has ever seen, because it's going to be 2 or 3 guys in every industry that bought up the book of business of everyone else because they found a process, they nailed it down, they automated it, and they could do everything cheaper, better, faster. Do you share that opinion?
I do, to a certain extent. Not where it's being pushed the way it is. So how I like to explain it to my clients is, again, AI is a co-pilot. It's supposed to help assist you.
Be a great name for an AI, actually.
Yeah. Oh, wait. But so whether it's Gemini, Copilot, you guys are already paying for these things.
Yeah.
It would behoove you greatly to learn how to utilize it to its fullest capability and understand where it fits in your business.
Well said, honestly, because here's the deal. Even if I'm wrong, you're going to be light years ahead of where you are now if you do implement those things, if you do integrate them. So here's the solution. You got to get started. And we're 2 individuals in the industry that have very clear pathways on how you get started. So if anybody's out there listening and they want to form a strategy and a plan, if they need that extra help to have that confidence to go into this world, they need to call you or an agency like you. If that company out there is saying, hey, I want to dip my toes in, I got a couple things I just want to work on, or hey, I want to build everything. I want that brain that lives above my business. You come to a company like us. And again, I want to make sure people know there's hope. Like there's already ways to do this, but you got to get started.
Yeah, the way I see it is when you put it in your business in the right way, you're improving your quality of life, you're upskilling your employees, you can cut costs, you can increase your revenue, but you have to do it wise.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for coming out today.
Thank you,
I appreciate
David.
it.
I love this.